Up next on the end of the day beer review, we're going to be looking at Lindermans Noir. This is a dark fruit beer coming in at 8% ABV. Check it out. Hey everybody, it's Rich and welcome to the end of the day beer review. And today, looking at something new that I just saw in the store the other day, so I picked it up. This is Lindermans Noir, a dark fruit beer. Now, you know, I'm sure anybody who's watching the channel has seen, or at least, well, has tried or at least seen, you know, Lindermans Framboise, which is a really, really good low ABV fruit beer made in Belgium. Well, this is made by the same company that makes Lindermans Framboise, but it says here that this is a dark fruit beer coming in at 8% ABV, and it is Blackcurrants, Elderberries and Blueberries, and it is a Lambic blend. Now, the writing on this is so small I don't think I can actually read it. The mixed fermentation brew is crafted with traditional Belgian Lambic and high fermented beer, then blended with dark fruits to provide intensely fruity flavor and a deep ruby red hue. The taste is juicy, full-bodied, and I'm going to stop reading it because it's just too small. Realistically, the other thing I wanted to point out, you know, to me, Lindermans Framboise, I've been drinking it since, you know, like the late 90s when we first got it at a local place called Croxley's, and that was on tap. And the packaging always looked sort of boring and all of this. They've really gone with like this sort of funky, it's sort of hard to see on camera, this funky sort of like wizardy type of thing on the beer, which I think is sort of cool. This particular bottle is only 250 ml, so, you know, it is a smaller one. I'm going to use a stem glass for this, although I have no idea if that's the correct glass for this. And they took all the advice that they put on some of the other bottles off of this and put all the wizardy stuff on it. So let's crack this one open. Let's see what we have. Real quick, just because we all hate spotty glasses, although I've wiped this one down like 4 times. Let's try our best and give it a pour. Now that pours a sort of a, it's not as dark purple as a Lindermans Framboise. And boy, talk about a small bottle. And by the way, 4 of these on sale at Wegmans on Long Island cost, I want to say $15.99. Now, it's not always quantity. Sometimes it's just, you know, you want really good quality. And I like Lindermans because it has always been fantastic. And the bar has filled with this really, really good sort of dark berry fruity smell, sort of like a mixture of blueberries and I think raspberries, which I'm not sure is even a dark fruit, but it's sort of that type of aroma right now. And that's without putting it to my nose. Putting it to my nose, I'm getting a lot of blueberry. There's a sourness there that I associate with elderberry, which I'm not particularly fond of. And yeah, sort of the blackberry currant aromas there. What's funny is it smells exactly like, there's an undertone aroma here, and the undertone aroma is of a Flintstones chewable vitamin. There's almost like a vitamin-y smell to this as well. Which I wonder if it's just the sourness of the elderberry that's making it sort of smell sort of medicinal. I'm just not sure. All right, you know what? Let's give it a try. Okay. It's very light, very effervescent, a lot of carbonation there. There's blueberry on the bottom of this flavor profile. The elderberry seems to be taking over the whole thing, and it's actually more sour than sweet, which I'm not a big fan of. But what I'm really not a big fan of is the fact that it tastes like the aftertaste of a Flintstones grape chewable vitamin. And I mean, certain people are going to know this description, certain people who watch are not. But if you've ever taken a Flintstone vitamin and chewed it up, especially the red one or the purple one, there's this aftertaste that's very specifically a vitamin aftertaste. And that's what's here in this beer as well. It's an odd aftertaste, actually. The sourness on the back end sort of overweighs the fruit on the front end. And there's that sort of medicinal vitamin flavor to the background of it. And now I'm getting a burn in my stomach from the alcohol. So everything that I'm getting out of this is what I don't particularly care for, to be honest. Yeah, there's just an unpleasant aftertaste to this. Listen, you know, for those of you who like elderberries, this might be the exact drink you want, and, you know, might be the drink you need right now. I realized when I reviewed, what was it, a Goose Island Backyard Stout, and was able to isolate the elderberry there, I realized, wow, I really don't like elderberries. And I have to be honest, I feel like the inclusion of elderberries into this, when they could have just left it with blueberries and currants, has sort of ruined the beer, at least for me. Now, that being said, if you like blueberries, currants, and elderberries, particularly the elderberries, because I think that's the dominant flavor here, this is probably a beer you're going to absolutely love. That being said, I bought it knowing elderberry were in here. I really was hoping it would be sort of an underlying flavor and not the dominant flavor. But the thing that's really bothering me is that sort of reminiscent Flintstones chewable vitamin taste. That I don't really care for at all. So, you know, like, I have a few more of these, which, quite honestly, I'm just going to give to some of my friends and let them try it, with the warning that I didn't particularly care for it. Now, is it a bad beer? I don't think it's a bad beer. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just don't think it's my flavor profile for, you know, a beer. And as such, would I buy it again? Probably not. Would I buy Lindermans Framboise, Lindermans Peach, or any of the other ones they have? Absolutely. Now, I did buy the Lindermans Noir peach version of this, which is like a mango peach thing. So I still have high hopes that that might be better because there's no elderberries in there, but we'll have to see, and I'll do that review sooner than later so you guys can see it. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, share the channel. Once again, I'd like to welcome the new subscribers. Really appreciate you subscribing, and I will see you next time on End of the Day Beer Review. I'm going to sit back and open a different beer because I got to be honest, I'm going to dump this one. This one just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't mean it won't do it for you, especially if you're an elderberry fan. And if you're one of the Goose Island people who watch this channel, like, you know, the people who are really into Goose Island, if you like the Backyard Stout, I taste some of the same flavor profiles there. I did not care for that particular one. And, you know, I think now I can say very honestly that I'm just not an elderberry fan. So, anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you